Next up, Jarrad Apperson. Jarrad Apperson.
I fought with my parents long and hard. They always wanted me to work. Like, that was the thing, like, I had to inherit this, this work ethic from my parents and this sense of responsibility, but man, fun was just so fun. And I remember I set the bar really low at a really young age. I failed kindergarten. And like, it was one of those like newer type schools that was in Dallas, and they were like, well, we understand what the kids need. They need to be able to make their own decisions. And so they gave us centers where you would either learn math or play with Lincoln Logs. And we were able to make our own decision all day. And apparently I was the only kid who chose Lincoln Logs over math. And at the end of the year, my parents were calling for a conference, and the principal sat them down. They were like, your son, he's not going to make it. We gave him the choice between adding and Lincoln Logs, and he chose Lincoln Logs every time. We want to hold him back in kindergarten. So my parents sent me to a new school, and I started first grade. I didn't want to be like that. But it was just like that feeling, you know, like constantly being told that you have to work hard, that life is hard, that you work as hard as you can, and then when you're 70, you take a seat and you throw your feet up and you say, I worked really hard, and I am tired now, and I'm 70. I guess I can finally relax and have some fun. But that's just how I was. I was just so into the fun. So my father, he decided that, you know, sports was where it was at for me. You know, sports had taught him discipline, had taught him rules, had taught him work ethic. And so I signed up for my first t-ball team the summer after I'd failed kindergarten. And I remember they had this big meeting with all the coaches and all the parents and all the kids at a park for, you know, it's all of our first, you know, sports teams. And they wanted to know what we kids wanted to name the team. And all the parents were waiting in anticipation. And my father was very proud and standing there. And I really wasn't paying attention. I was looking at the playground equipment, and there was this big slide that sort of looked like a giraffe. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And so the coach asked us what we wanted to name our sports team, our first t-ball team. And starting with the first kid and to me being the last. And the first kid was like, well, Red Sox, or, you know, the Reds, you know, the Cubs, the Texas Rangers, the Rangers. I'm from Texas, so they all want to be called the Rangers. And he came to me, and they were like, well, Jarrad, what would you like to name our t-ball team? And I was like, well, the Giraffes, I think, is probably the best one. And I remember like that making so much sense in my mind. Like, I was like, my sound decision is definitely the Giraffes on this one. I think that's what our baseball team should be. I remember looking over at my father, and he just sort of like collapsed on one of the picnic benches, and I was like, all right, sports. So we went to our first game, and I was really excited. Like, I wanted to prove to everyone that I understood the rules and that I'd worked hard enough to belong out in right field of t-ball. And then I quickly realized that this mitt that was on my hand fit perfectly over my face. And I had recently seen Star Wars for the first time. And so I started breathing out in the field like Darth Vader, like, and like walking, and then and I was really into this game that I was playing. I was having a great time, and I sort of heard the umpire yelling, and I sort of heard the coach yelling, and I heard, well, my parents and all the parents yelling, and finally I took off the mask, and I was like next to the parking lot, and like, everybody was just like standing out in the field, just like, all right. And so it's just like that, all that hard work, and like when it was put to me like that, like, you need to learn these rules, and you need to take this many grounders, and it's going to be really hard, and it's going to take up a lot of time. But it was just such a big turnoff for me that I just was absolutely not interested in it. And it was about this age that some of my parents' friends came and they were like, have you heard of this thing called Ritalin? It helped our little Billy. Now he studies, all the time. And we think that your son would be a great candidate for Ritalin. Luckily, my parents said no. He's going to work hard and persevere, and he's going to get through this, with a good old-fashioned gumption. And it's weird because I had a friend at the same time. His name was Dylan, and he was sort of the same spacey kind of kid that I was. And now he's in law school, and he'd begun Ritalin right about that age. And it totally changed him. It made a whole new person. He couldn't stop learning and doing books, and we're still sort of friends, but he's going to be a lawyer. Good for him. But I did fine, and as I got older, right like 5th and 6th grade, I was the kid that wasn't allowed to sit with the other kids. They put my desk in a corner and I faced a wall my entire 6th grade year. And I would just sit there on the side of my chair, just waiting for anyone to look over at me, and if they did, I'd throw a pencil or something. And pretty soon it just, I was just that kid. And all my teachers, they pegged me as a future heroin junkie, a future drug addict, and I remember having that feeling, all these teachers had totally given up on me because I just couldn't care enough, and it seemed so hard, and I just didn't want to work at it. I loved having fun, and fun is so fun. And but I sort of got straight. I didn't make great grades, and people always were you gotta make great grades and go to college, and so I did that thing. Finally, I got through college, and I got out of it, and then I realized something recently, very recently. Life is fun. I'm still having fun, but I'm getting stuff done, casserole night, are you kidding? I get to get 3 or 4 Campbell's soup cans and throw them into a pan, and then a pound of cheese and Doritos and bacon on casserole night? That is so fun. All these things that my parents told me were so hard are so fun for me now. I just really like it. Clean up the house, people are coming over, yeah, let's do it. Let's see how much I can clean in 7 minutes. How did I do? I got more time? Let's see how much I can clean in 7 more minutes. It's all so fun. It's all this game for me now. I just look back at my parents and it was just you gotta work up, son. The work ethic is most important. Work is hard, and life is hard, and it's hard. And I'm having a great time, and I feel like I cheated someone. But it sort of came full circle. My parents, my brother recently got married, and they had a little dance party and at the reception and everything. And I walked out, and I'm no classically trained dancer, but I have a nice beat. And I really devote myself fully 100% into any dance that I try. But anyway, I went out to dance and I was doing that, and I looked at my dad, and he came out and he tried to dance, and I could just tell by looking at him that he dancing and having fun was so hard.